Good day, here are the headlines from the Philippine News Agency. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has ordered the creation of a task force that will consolidate all measures to mitigate the impacts of the El Niño phenomenon. The President says the task force will be led by the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council. Based on the National Action Plan for El Niño, the government is laying out plans to mitigate the effects of El Niño on 5 main sectors, namely water, food, power, health, and public safety. The President stressed the need to prioritize short-term and long-term interventions and ensure timely release of assistance to affected areas. At the same time, he told officials to encourage the public to help in mitigation efforts such as saving water and energy. The Department of Science and Technology said around 65 provinces across the country may potentially experience drought, while 6 provinces may be hit with the dry spell. El Niño is expected to persist until the end of second quarter of next year. Shifting gears now, passengers may have to brace for higher train fares as the Department of Transportation confirms that these are expected to go up by the first quarter of 2024. Transportation Secretary Jaime Bautista said the petition to hike Metro Rail Transit or MRT fares will be presented to the LRTA board to be implemented next year. The MRT3 management is seeking an increase of 2 pesos and 29 centavos for the boarding fee and a 21 centavo increase in fare per kilometer. This will increase the minimum fare up to 16 pesos from the current 13 pesos. An end-to-end trip from North Avenue Station to Taft Avenue would go up from the current 28 pesos to 34 pesos. Last week, the DOTr announced plans to increase the MRT fare following similar fare hikes at the LRT1 and LRT2 in August. Profits from the fare adjustment will be used to subsidize other government projects. Sunshine Media Network International or SMNI anchors Lorraine Badoy and Jeffrey Celiz were freed from detention on Tuesday by the House Committee on Legislative Franchises due to humanitarian reasons. The panel unanimously decided to approve Badoy and Celiz's release, with Committee Chair Gus Tambunting citing the hosts' apologies for their actions. Lawmakers ordered Celiz's detention after he refused to disclose the identity of his source on the purported 1.8 million pesos in travel expenditures of House Speaker Martin Romualdez aired in the SMNI show Laban Kasama ang Bayan. Badoy, a former official of the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, was cited in contempt due to her conflicting statements and disrespectful behavior during the inquiry. Tambunting explains the release order issued by the House has nothing to do with the writ of habeas corpus that their spouses filed to contest their detention, adding that the panel would simply summon Celiz and Badoy in subsequent hearings on the SMNI matter. Meanwhile, the duo's legal counsel, former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque Jr., urged the court to decide whether the 2 broadcasters were covered by the SOTL law, which protects journalist sources. According to the petitioners, the respondent committee's discretion has been grossly abused, and the Honorable Supreme Court has the authority and obligation to invalidate this. It further said the petitioners' freedom should not be subject to arbitrary and capricious manipulation by the committee. A bill that aims to increase the annual teaching supplies allowance of public school teachers is slowly making its way into becoming a law after the House of Representatives gave their approval on the 3rd and final reading. With 247 votes in favor, the Chamber approved House Bill 9682 or the proposed Teaching Supplies Allowance Act during the plenary session on Tuesday. Under the bill, the annual teaching allowance will increase from the current 5,000 pesos to 7,500 pesos per teacher for school year 2024 to 2025 and 10,000 pesos per teacher in the succeeding school years. It says the stipend can be used to implement or carry out different learning delivery modalities and cover incidental expenses. House Speaker Martin Romualdez said this much-needed allowance for teachers is long overdue. He also says the passing of the law strengthens the commitment of the House of Representatives to the welfare of public school teachers. He also says he is willing to work with the Senate to harmonize the bill. The Christmas weekend just got longer. This after President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. declared December 26, Tuesday, a special non-working day to allow Filipinos to spend more time celebrating Christmas with their loved ones. Proclamation 425, signed by the President earlier this week, said a longer weekend will encourage families to get together and strengthen their relationship, leading to a better society. Marcos also highlighted the potential of an extended weekend in promoting domestic tourism for the benefit of local economies during this festive period. The Department of Labor and Employment has been tasked to ensure the seamless implementation of the proclamation within the private sector. And that's the latest and the biggest stories on the Pna Headlines. For more news updates, please visit our webpage, pna.gov.ph, or our Facebook and X account, Philippine News Agency. The Pna Headlines is also streamed via the Servicio Facebook page. You may also watch the Pna Headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account via the News and Information Bureau website, nib.gov.ph under Pna News, or on the Facebook page of the Presidential Communications Office, or PCO. It's 12 days before Christmas. I am Benj Bondok. This is the Pna Headlines, bringing stories that unite the nation.